Hey, it's Sam on the Here's to Us, and welcome to part 2 of the winter storage video. And if you haven't seen part 1, on part 1 I covered, hey, why would you want to store your boat, the various methods of storing the boat, and then my preferred is inside heated winter storage, and I go through how we prep the boat for that. In this video, I am going to cover what we asked to get done. So in all of this, it is balancing our needs and wants, things that we need to get done and things that we'd like to get done, and balancing that against the yard's capabilities and, of course, money. Now, one other thing is, in the previous video, I talked to you about the different types of winter storage, and I just want to show this to you. Is when we were in the water and winterized, we winterized all the systems. We did not shrink wrap it, but this particular boat came with some canvas that we put on the aft and the foredeck to kind of keep snow away. Our main focus on this inside winter heated storage and haul out is the integrity of the bottom, and I'm going to cover a number of things that I wanted checked and repaired and just maintained. So the main premise is water on the outside of the boat, that's a good thing. Water on the inside of the boat, that's a bad thing. So we're going to be taking a look all around the boat as they pull it out and checking the integrity of the boat. Now, one of the first things to check as that boat comes out of the water, because we haven't seen them for a while, are the props. Are the props in good order? Are there any nicks on them or things that have to be repaired? Are we going to have to pull them off and have them sent to a prop shop to have them straightened? The next thing is the rudder. And look at the rudders, the integrity of the rudders, and something that I'm asking them to do, because I don't have a record of it ever being done, is the rudder packing. And that is going to, we'll see, it's going to present a little bit of a challenge for the crew there at the yard. Also, the shaft seals, and those are on the inside of the boat. We're going to have those inspected, as well as all of the through holes underneath the underside of the boat. I want those exercised, I want them inspected, looked at, and if there's any doubt at all, I want them replaced. One of the other things we have on the Here's to Us is we had line cutters, because we were traveling through areas where there were a lot of crab pots and those things. So I'm going to have them take a look at the line cutters, and I may also have them remove the line cutters and stow them away for maybe the next time we go through an area with crab pots and a next haul out. But we're planning to be in the Great Lakes in Canada for a long time, so we don't really see a need for those line cutters to be on there. Since we're talking about transition to fresh water, we are going to also be changing the bottom paint and making sure that the bottom paint will hold up in the fresh water. We had a combo type paint before, and so we're going to be taking a look at that paint and see what the yard recommends for that. As well as the anodes on the boat. We had zincs on there, and as we're doing the research for it, for fresh water, we're going to change those out to magnesium anodes. Now, we already know we have an issue with the bow thruster. We can hear there's a difference in the sound, so we probably have broken off one blade, so that is one thing that we're going to be checking. And this boat also has a stern thruster, so we're going to have them look at the integrity of the stern thruster, and of course both of those also have anodes on them, so they will be changed out as well. And then I'm asking them to get me an additional, a spare bow thruster prop so that I have it on board the boat. All right, let's move on to the side of the boat as far as the integrity. There are a number of through-hole fittings on the side that I am not happy with. They're a metal type, and I get rust stains down from the bottom of them, and I'm going to investigate whether or not they can pull those and put plastic ones in, and therefore we could maybe have a little bit neater side of the boat with that plastic, won't show the rust stains. And the final thing is a cosmetic, that boot stripe on the bottom. I'd like to have that removed and replaced with some fresh boot striping. I think it's the original boot striping that is on the boat, so it's time for that to come off and make it pretty. Now, as careful as you might be and as careful as I try to be with the boat, sometimes you scrape the boat and so you get some damage to the gel coat. And so those are areas that I want repaired, and that's going to take a little bit of extra work. After the gel coat is done and after the boot striping is done, I want it waxed and buffed all the way down from the waterline on down, and that'll be easier to do than it would be if the boat were in the water. One safety item that is on the boat is this boat has a Fireboy system, and what that Fireboy system does is if it detects a fire in the engine room, it will shut down both engines, the generator if it's running, and it will also shut the blowers down. And we had that system modified a couple years ago, so I want that Fireboy system checked out. And for me, that's a big safety concern on the Here's to Us. So they will weigh the tank, they will check out the system, and they will put a tag on it that it is operational. And then I'm going to send that over to my insurance agency because I want them to know that I'm taking good care of the boat. Two other mechanical items inside of the boat that are working okay, but I would like to get them fixed and upgraded is the forward head. We're getting a little bit of water on the floor when it's flushed. It's not urine or anything like waste. It is fresh water, and so I've tried to troubleshoot that, and I'm at the limits of my capability, so I want them to take a look at that. The other thing is the first mate deserves a new refrigerator and freezer. So we have sourced that the best we can, and we're going to be discussing that with the yard. We know how to get the old ones out. People who have this model of boat have done it before, and so we are looking for original equipment, which is Marvel, and if we can get those, we're going to have the yard take the refrigerator and freezer out and replace it with new ones. The ones that we have are working just fine. It's just that one of these times I know it's going to go out, and so we would rather replace that ahead of time, and this would be a great time to be able to do it. Three final things that we are going to, and I consider these upgrades, is in our engine compartment. I've talked to people who have this style of boat and very similar to it and these engines, and they said one of the things that they put on were Walker air seps. Now, seps means separators, Walker air separators, and it's really to reduce the blow-by from the engines and be able to really take some of that air and put it back into the crankcase, so it helps on the fumes in the engine room and also maintenance. So we're going to ask them to get us an estimate on that. Another thing is this boat has a lot of room on the hardtop for solar panels, and we have seen where people with this style of boat have put solar panels up there. So we're going to see if they have somebody who's an expert in that area on putting solar panels on and wiring it through the boat, so extended stay on the hook. We wouldn't have to put that generator on as much. Now, one of the things, if you've been following us, you know that we had a dinghy for most of the first loop and some of the second loop, and then we got rid of the dinghy. Now, since we're thinking of the Great Lakes in Canada, we're thinking, maybe we want a dinghy again. So we're going to ask the yard, and they also operate as a broker, that if there's a dinghy that comes for sale, hey, we might be interested in it. So that's another thing that we passed on to the yard. All right, so we gave them the list and we went away and we kept in touch with them via email, and they were sending us questions and progress on it. Not everything got done, and that's okay. And it was a combination of availability of parts and supplies and technician and scheduling on the part of the yard. So in the next video, which will be part 3, I'll tell you what was actually done, plus we had something done that was a real big surprise. So we'll see you next time on What Yacht To Do for part 3.